Hello, it's me, French Ted, and we are here at the end of March in episode 11? 11, we'll go with that. And it's Living Dangerously time. This is our pay-per-view event, our third pay-per-view event of the series, I believe. Not including episode 1, because that was like a live booking, random, didn't really matter, but kind of did matter. Yeah, anyways. We've got Living Dangerously. Phil LaFon's contract also expires. Phil LaFon, part of the Can-Am Express? Yes, okay. I like Doug Furness. I'm not really that sold on Phil LaFon. Obviously, they're a good tag team, and we do need tag teams. So he'll probably stick around. But as I mentioned in the previous episode, I don't know if you guys remember, but I'll remind you, we are looking to do a kind of review episode in the next one. So we'll be looking at our roster, we'll be looking at our tag teams, we'll be looking at creating some new tag teams, maybe signing some new tag teams. It'll kind of be like a new look. Although, thinking about it, we've got Wrestlepalooza in a month's time, which is obviously our biggest show of the year. Would it not make sense to do it then? I think it would. Actually, yeah, I think we might wait and do it at Wrestlepalooza instead. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So ignore what I've just said. The next episode will be these two, then these two, Wrestlepalooza, and then we will do a big review, because then like that's the kind of time you want to bring in new signings, introduce new storylines, etc., etc., you know, whatever. Anyways, we are here. Living Dangerously is coming up, so let's not waste any more time and let's dive straight into what I hope is going to be a really, really good show. Okay, and try your best not to be spoiled by what's on the screen, because we will get to it. Let's look at the question on the left-hand side, as we always do, before we start looking at the show. And this week's question is, what is your least favourite match type? Now, this can be any kind of match type you've witnessed in the past. Which one do you kind of see and you just go, oh, really? For me, and this seems like a weird one, because like some people might not class it as a match type, but I do. Actually, there's two really. One is when like battle royales are just thrown together, like, oh, let's just do a battle royale to decide something. Don't like that. If there's a reason for it, you know, like the Royal Rumble, or there's a lot of people vying for a title, or there's a memorial, I don't know. But just like when generic battle royals are thrown together, like, oh, you know what, we're going to do a number one contenders match for a title that no one really cares about. Let's just throw half a division in, when really there's only 3 people that probably could become number one contender. Why don't you just have a 3-way match? Do you know what I mean? That grates my gears. And another match type that I do tend to roll my eyes at, and it's mostly depending on who's in the match, are 6-man tag team matches. Now, I love a tag team match. I think tag team matches are my favourite kind of matches. But there's something about 6-man tags or trios matches that just don't, you know, sit well with me. Annoyingly, I love New Japan Pro Wrestling, but they obviously do this a lot. You know, they have lots of multi-man matches, you know, in their undercard. And 9 times out of 10, they're relatively meaningless. Or they'll continue the story of like 2 people just adding extra people in. Yet they just don't work. Sometimes they do. Prime example, I think it was Elimination Chamber 2016, I want to say. It might actually be more recent than that. Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family and the Shield. That one, it starts off as a regular 6-man tag, but then obviously it kind of explodes and just becomes a free-for-all. Those ones, mwah, love them. But most 6-man tags I'm just not interested in. Especially because you can usually look at the match and go, it doesn't need to be a 6-man tag, because, you know, those 3 people, they're not really a team. They're just doing it, you know, they're Teddy Longing it, aren't they? They're just fusing storylines. Yeah. Anyways, sorry about that rant. Let me know your least favourite match type down below. And of course, and, you know, this kind of goes without saying, but can you give a reason why as well? It always helps. We've been getting a few just like 1-word answers, and I'm like, oh, thanks for that. Why? Like, come on, let's start a bit of a dialogue. But you've probably already seen it. We open with our TV title match, and in a pretty good match, 3.5 star, Jerry Lynn retains. Just Incredible came out on his own, solo, one-on-one, just as he said he was going to, just as Jerry Lynn requested. And unfortunately, Jerry Lynn bested him in what was a really good match. Ignore the numbers. 79 reaction from the crowd and 78% match quality, which is awesome, and a 66 final score to kick off the Living Dangerously show. Jerry Lynn with the win, up in his popularity in North and Latin America. Just Incredible dropping slightly in Latin America. But of course, after a hard-fought battle and the final bell rings, Jerry Lynn and Just Incredible have had an epic match. The audience, the crowd, they've erupted in applause for the competitors. You know, they loved this match. They like that Just Incredible came out on his own, didn't, cheat at all in any way. Unfortunately, he didn't come out the win, but they liked a good, clean wrestling match. That's what we're here for. Jerry Lynn, fatigued but victorious, raises his arms, holding his title high in the crowd support. However, that celebration is short-lived. Suddenly, the lights in the arena dim, casting a shadow over the ring, and without warning, Just Incredible's demeanor changes as he delivers a mean low blow to Jerry Lynn from behind, catching him completely off guard. Jerry Lynn collapses to the ground, clutching his nuts in pain. But before anyone can even react to that, the arena has now been flooded with a swarm of assailants. Just Incredible's Enigma allies Jason and the Hardy Boys storm down the ramp, and the crowd's previous cheers turn into gasps of disbelief, but also they're like, yeah, we saw this coming, as an ambush unfolds. Jason and the Hardy Boys waste no time attacking Jerry Lynn. Jason swings a steel chair, striking Jerry Lynn's prone body on the floor with force. Meanwhile, Jeff Hardy gets up to the nearest turnbuckle and hits a breathtaking swanton bomb, as Matt Hardy then pulls Jerry Lynn up, almost within the same flow, and hits a devastating twist of fate, driving Lynn's head into the unforgiving ECW canvas. This onslaught continues for minutes, which doesn't sound long, but think about it, that is quite long. As Just Incredible, Jason and the Hardy Boys work seamlessly together, delivering punishing blows to a lifeless, obviously there is life, Jerry Lynn body. The referee and the arena security scramble to intervene, but they're quickly overwhelmed by the attack as well. Amidst the chaos, the audience are roaring with a mix of shock and outrage, as no one is coming in to help Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn then lays motionless, battered, bloodied, as the attackers continue. Finally, satisfied with their work, Just Incredible calms his allies down, and they retreat from the ring, leaving Jerry Lynn sprawled in the center, a victim of Enigma. So, despite the, fair, great match that we've just had, Just Incredible shows his true side by having Jason and the Hardy Boys come down and brutally attack Jerry Lynn. I assume this isn't the end of whatever feud is happening here, but Jerry Lynn is definitely outnumbered, and I do not envy the man at all. Decent-ish segment here, 62, as we move on to our next match, which is a 6-man tag, but this time we've added chairs. It is our chairs match between the Blue World Order and the FBI. And in what's a decent match, is the Blue World Order that get the win. We went for a comedy angle for this one because, of course, Blue Meanie, Nova, FBI, Stevie, they've all got really good entertainment skills. They're good fun. And yeah, there were fun moments aplenty with all of these chairs flying around. Everyone getting a little moment to either be hurt or hurt someone. And yeah, the Blue World Order went over with an 82 crowd reaction, 2.5 match quality, 70% isn't too bad with a 65 overall. And yeah, Stevie Richards getting the final win. With Stevie and Blue Meanie getting some big pops here. Supernova, not as much, but I think that's because he's higher up the card, so he gets less of a pop boost for beating people below him, if that makes sense. And then, of course, FBI do drop a little bit in popularity, but we got some loads of bonuses here. Tommy Rich got a boost in his performance. Heyman did a lot of heavy lifting, helping with Meanie, putting the story together and just helping everyone in general as the agent of this match. And yeah, I guess it's 2-0 now, you could say, to the Blue World Order, because Stevie Richards and Supernova won in that tag team match in the previous couple of episodes, and they have won again here. So, I mean, the FBI kind of need to sort their shit out, don't they? But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the FBI. You know, do they crumble? Do they come back stronger? Do they go back on a recruiting spree? Because obviously they did try and bring Joey Munoz in at one point. Who knows? But we do end with the Blue World Order on top. Following on from this match, it's our second and final title match of the night. It is our Tag Team Championship match between the champions, Chris Candido and Lance Storm, and the number one contenders, the Pitbulls. Let's dive straight into this and see what happens. Remember, Candido said this is his time to shine as he looks to put away the Pitbulls almost single-handedly. But we all knew this was going to happen. As you can see, in a decent match, 14 minutes, the Pitbulls get the win, and they are our new ECW World Tag Team Champions. Anthony Durante and Gary Wolf are our new tag champions after defeating Chris Candido. The reason I say Chris Candido is because the man just did not do well tonight. He said that he wanted Lance Storm to take a backseat, so Lance Storm was like, you start in the ring, go for it, my dude. But as the Pitbulls began to, use their tag team prowess and take advantage of Chris Candido, Lance Storm was there, hand stretched, begging for a tag, but Candido refused. Candido wanted to show Shane Douglas, Bam Bam Bigelow, Triple Threat, the world, that he could do this. And unfortunately, his ego got the better of him, and they lost. Lance Storm didn't get tagged in once during this match. 72% reaction from the crowd, 3-star overall, and a 63 overall as the Pitbulls just jump in popularity. That's really, really good here. It's what we want to see, as we've got a proper tag team now as our tag team champions. And let's just look at the fallout of this tag team championship match. So the Pitbulls stand in the ring, proudly clutching the ECW tag team championship belts. The crowd cheers for the new champions, celebrating a hard-fought victory against one half, you could say, of the former tag champions. Meanwhile, on the outside, tension is brewing between the now former champions Candido and Lance Storm. Candido looks visibly winded, tired, frustrated, holding onto the ropes, glaring at Storm with contempt. And throughout the match, Candido's selfishness became evident as he refused to tag in his partner, leaving Storm on the sidelines for the entire match. Lance Storm, a picture of disappointment and frustration, watches on from ringside as his expression is a mixture of dismay and disappointment. He was ready and eager to contribute during the match, but Candido just did not want to have him involved at all, and his arrogance cost them their titles. Despite them not liking each other, they clearly both enjoyed being a champion in ECW, but this has now unfortunately come to an end. Adding to all of this tension, even Sonny, the valet of Chris Candido and partner, who has stood by his side throughout the entire reign and throughout most of his career, is visibly upset. Sonny, who's usually known for her fiery personality and loyalty to Candido, seems close to her breaking point as she is severely disappointed with Candido. She looks at him as he extends his arms out to her, and she just shakes her head in disappointment, turning her back on Candido and walking away from the ring. As Candido now stands alone in the ring, clutching the ropes and staring at the now departed Sonny, he realizes that he fucked up. The realization has now dawned upon him as the boos from the audience rain down, echoing the disapproval of his selfish behaviour, as Lance Storm, Sonny and co have left the ring, leaving Candido behind, sitting in his own sadness. So yeah, Candido's ego, his arrogance got the better of him here and essentially turned the match into a handicap, which of course he was never going to win when facing a team like the Pitbulls. So, I mean, what's going to happen between Candido and Sonny? Is Storm going to react any more than just looking disappointed? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, new tag team champions. Congratulations to the Pitbulls, taking advantage of a situation that anyone would have done the same in. So let's hope they get a long and decent reign with those titles. Following on from this, though, it is time for Sabu to introduce who Rob Van Dam's opponent is. Rob Van Dam already in the ring with Bill Alfonso, you know, blowing his whistle away. Van Dam doing his gestures as he normally does. As Sabu's music hits and he steps out to introduce ECW's newest acquisition, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. The ECW arena is buzzing with anticipation as Sabu introduces the world to the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, who steps into a single spotlight. Sabu says, "Tonight, I bring you someone special. A man I've followed for quite some time, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. I've traveled the world, I've faced the best of the best in this business, and let me tell all of you," as he points to Rob Van Dam, "Christopher Daniels here is the greatest in-ring performer I've ever seen." The fans erupt into cheers, you know, noticing that we've now got this amazing wrestler, Christopher Daniels, in ECW. However, amidst the cheers, there is a tense atmosphere brewing in the ring as RVD stands, perplexed at what Sabu has just said. RVD, you know, he's known for his arrogance, senses a challenge to his own status as an elite performer in ECW. His jaw clenched as he listens to Sabu's praise for Daniels, a guy that he's never even heard of, and is visibly irritated by that declaration. As Sabu's words resonate in the arena, Rob Van Dam's had enough. He steps forward, grabs a microphone, and says, "Hold up, Sabu, I've heard enough. You're clearly just trying to get under my skin. You're calling this guy the greatest in-ring performer? What about me? What about the whole effing show?" The crowd's attention then shifts to RVD, who stands defiantly in the ring, upon the turnbuckle, doing his, you know, Rob Van Dam gesture. While his gaze completely fixed on Sabu and the debuting Christopher Daniels. He continues, "I'm the one who's been tearing up ECW night in, night out. And you want to talk about the best? Well, the both of you are looking at him," as he kind of laughs off mic. Sabu and Daniels then exchange a knowing glance, unfazed by Rob Van Dam's words. Sabu then raises his microphone again, ready to respond, as him and Christopher Daniels slowly make their way to the ring. Sabu responds and says, "Nobody's doubting your skills, man, but tonight you're going to witness greatness in action. Get ready to be humbled, Rob, because the Fallen Angel is here to elevate ECW to heights that you couldn't even dream of." Sabu has a smirk on his face, knowing that these words are getting to Van Dam. The tension mounts as Rob Van Dam and the Fallen Angel lock eyes, the promise of an explosive debut match for Christopher Daniels. This should be a good one. So yeah, Christopher Daniels has debuted in ECW. And, you know, at first I was like, he's too young to debut. Christopher Daniels is older than Rob Van Dam. So, you know, he's been around the block. He's done his thing. I've added this picture because the one they had before didn't really fit. I don't know, it did, but it also didn't. I want him to look a little bit more intimidating. So this is more like 2001 Christopher Daniels, but, you know, it's fine. We can shave his, we polish his head a little bit, and there you go, we're done. But yeah, the next match is Rob Van Dam against the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, Sabu's hand-picked opponent for Rob Van Dam. Initially, I was going to go down the route of finding, you know, an experienced wrestler, you know, someone who's been there, done that. But I feel like Rob Van Dam would just still scoff at that, especially if he wins. His ego will just get bigger. Whereas bringing in an unknown that we all know has immense in-ring ability is far more humbling for Rob Van Dam should he lose. So yeah, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into this. It is the debut of the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, taking on the whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. Oh, and that is what we like to see. My goodness. So we went for a steal the show. I took a risk and it paid off. Oh, wow. Okay, look at this. So all of these queens, let's read them all. Why not? Let's take our time with this one. So by aiming to steal the show, workers up their game. RVD had a boost in his performance. The star power of RVD added to this match. RVD's explosive style impressed the crowd. Christopher Daniel got a boost because of his gimmick. The star power of Daniels added to the match. As always, Daniels put in a huge effort and the vocal crowd were in love with this match, making it even better. And of course, Heyman was here to help everyone with the segment, and apparently working with Christopher Daniels helps everyone too. So I think I made the right choice. 100% from the crowd, an 87 match quality percentage, 4-star match, and an 85 overall. My goodness, the Fallen Angel is here, and we haven't even mentioned that Christopher Daniels won. It's not mentioned here, which is a little bit annoying. But Sabu did get involved in the match. RVD was kind of being a bit of a dick. He was kind of turning his attention to Sabu a bit too much, which rattled Sabu, who did get involved very briefly to distract Rob Van Dam. But Christopher Daniels took advantage of that and defeated Rob Van Dam in his debut match. What a statement from the Fallen Angel, and what a potentially humbling moment for Rob Van Dam. What happens after this between RVD, Sabu, Bill Alfonso, and maybe even Christopher Daniels if he's still a part of it? Who knows? But I'm sure we will learn more in the coming episodes of Hardcore TV. Damn, what a match. I didn't think it would be this good. I'm happy. I'm smiling. Let's move on to the next match, which is going to be Bubba Ray Dudley taking on Chainsaw Dudley. But before we head to the ring, it looks like someone in the Dudley Boys doesn't want to come out. Joel Gertner is backstage, looking a little bit timid. He goes up to Bubba Ray and he goes, Bubba, my brother from another mother. I got a level with you. Tonight just feels a little bit different and, I've got some concerns. Bubba turns to Joel Gertner, adjusting his knee pads and says, concerns? What are you talking about, Joel? We're a team. The Dudley Boys don't back down from anyone. What's up? Gertner then kind of adjusts his bow tie and says, oh, trust me, I know that, big man. But you see, it's Chainsaw. The guy's just got a few screws loose, you know what I mean? Chainsaw isn't your ordinary Dudley. He's, how do I put this delicately as to not offend, a family member? He's unhinged. And I don't want to get caught in the crossfire of whatever family beef you guys have. Bubba looks a little bit disappointed and responds by saying, so you're telling me that you're not going to come out there tonight? Come on, Joel. You've been in the trenches with the Dudley Boys for years. Gertner then gets a little bit defensive and says, look, Bubba, I'm all about that Dudleyville love, but I got to protect my own assets, Chainsaw Dudley, he's got me spooked. Maybe I'll just hang back here tonight. I'll cheer you on from the sidelines. Safety first and all that, Bubba sighs, knowing that Joel Gertner's clearly not going to come out. He says, all right, Joel, I get it. You stay back here while Devon and I take out this psycho. Gertner then perks up, feeling like he's been let off the hook, and says, hey, that's the spirit, Bubba. You go out there and show Chainsaw what the right side of Dudleyville's made of. And hey, maybe after the match, we'll all sit down and we'll laugh about it. Assuming you make it out in one piece, that is. Bubba then shoots a glaring look at Gertner, who kind of retreats and backs off as Bubba Ray and Devon psych themselves up, ready for Bubba's singles match against Chainsaw Dudley. So yeah, nice little promo here. A little bit of Joel Gertner, because we love a bit of Joel. As we head straight into the singles bout requested by Chainsaw Dudley, Bubba Ray versus Chainsaw. And again, a really good match. Bubba Ray is killing it. To be fair, Chainsaw does as well. They've got bad chemistry though, and we still got an 82. Ooh! So we booked this as a crazy, chaotic match. The crowd were in love with this segment. We got a 100. Both Devon and Spike were getting involved. It was essentially a tornado tag in a way, because Devon was helping Bubba at any point he could. Spike was probably just trying to calm down Chainsaw and, even the odds a little bit by trying to take out Devon where he can. But ultimately, it is Chainsaw Dudley that comes out with the win with the Dudley choke slam that he debuted on his first match. So yeah, a big win for Chainsaw Dudley over Bubba, and it seems like the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, are just as spooked as Joel Gertner is now. They're wondering, we can't get past this. You know, maybe picking on poor Spike was the worst thing we could have done, because, you know, the Dudley family stretches far and beyond what we already know. There's so many more Dudleys in the world that we could introduce. But Chainsaw has got to be one of the most unpredictable and scary. And I think Bubba Ray and Devon are slowly starting to realise that. But just looking at the numbers here, we got a 100 from the crowd, a 79 match quality, 3.5 stars rating, and an 82 overall. And that jump for Chainsaw Dudley, a 1.3 jump in popularity, which is really, really good to see, as he kind of makes ECW his home. I mean, forget Leatherface in FMW. It's all about Chainsaw Dudley. And of course, Spike is loving it. You know, it's been a while since Spike has felt this confident in an ECW arena. You know, he's no longer the ragdoll that people just, you know, fuck with. He's here, and, you know, he's quite happy to be here. Following on from this match, wondering if we can top it, because we've had 2 back-to-back baller matches, is our FMW bout. There's been a feud ongoing in FMW between Jinsei Shinzaki and Hideki Hosaka, and it comes to blows in an ECW arena for the FMW special match. Let's get straight into it. There's not really any backstory to this, because I don't know what they've been doing. So let's just enjoy a really good, I hope, Japanese wrestling match. 63, you know, not terrible. But, you know, they went for a steal the show, trying to up their game. Harley Race, of course, being the baller agent he is, did a lot of heavy lifting to put this together. And Shinzaki comes out with the win. Of course, with FMW bouts, I do not select a winner. I let the computer do its thing and decide. We've got a really good 80 match quality, which is a little bit better than our previous match. 70% crowd reaction. Of course, they're not going to be into it as much as ECW originals. But Shinzaki comes out with a win with +2 in North and Latin America, and Hosaka dropping a little bit in Latin America, but it doesn't matter that much. 63 overall, and a decent win for Shinzaki as they head back to FMW after the show. But now it is main event time. There's no backstage interviews, there's no segments, there's no crazy entrances. It's just straight to the main event. As Paul Heyman declared, Taz versus the Sandman. The winner of this match will face Shane Douglas for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship, which we imagine would now be at Wrestlepalooza. So, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive straight into our main event match. And in a 10-minute match, because, you know, we don't want Sandman to run out of breath, it is Taz who comes out with the win. I mean, who else would it be? Let's be honest. Taz, he came back with an attitude. Not that he didn't have one before. Said, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. And god damn it, he's gone and done it. Taz's explosive style, as always, impresses the crowd. We had Harley Race on the job and making sure that Sandman did the best he could. And yeah, jumping pop for Taz. A 95 crowd reaction. A really poor match. But again, it's just because the Sandman's not a wrestler, is he? Let's be honest. He's not a wrestler. He's a character. And a 67 overall. By far, you know, not the worst match of the night, but clearly not the best with our 85 that we had earlier on. But it doesn't matter, because Taz is now officially, and no one can take this away from him, our #1 contender for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship. And post-match, Shane Douglas and Francine come out to the ramp to stare down his next challenger. And that is how we end the show. A stare down between the world champion and the #1 contender. Let's end the show and see how we did. We would have got a 75, which is awesome. I think that's one of the highest we've had. I think 78 is the highest we've had, but 75 is really, really good. Obviously, we're capped at 55, but it doesn't matter because we continue that steady growth in popularity. Just going to slowly scroll through as we recap what happened. So, Jerry Lynn retains, but at what cost? Of course, he was attacked by all members of Enigma into a bloody mess, left almost lifeless in the ring. The BWO make it 2-0. against the FBI. Are the FBI going to want to get some revenge? We'll have to wait and see. The Pitbulls are our new ECW Tag Team Champions after Candido's arrogance gets the better of him and Lance Storm, refusing to tag Lance Storm in once during that 14-minute bout. And that ended with Chris Candido being left solo in the ring, Lance Storm and Sonny leaving his side. Sabu then welcomed and debuted the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels to ECW, and what a debut he had by defeating Rob Van Dam. Of course, you can see in brackets here cheating because it was Sabu who distracted Rob Van Dam, allowing Daniels to get the advantage and get the win. Gertner didn't want to be a part of the Chainsaw Dudley match, so Bubba went out there solo in a way because Devon was there, but Chainsaw Dudley still came out with the win in what was a really, really good match. We then had the FMW special match where Jinsei Shinzaki went over Hideki Hosaka. I don't know why it doesn't tell us there. That might be because I didn't choose for it to happen. And then, of course, in the main event, not the best match, not the worst match either, Taz gets the win. He defeats the Sandman to become the #1 contender. So let's end the show and look at all of our email notes and stuff as we push forward to the month as well, and see, you know, what goes down there too. So we made 140,000 ticket sales, which is double what we usually do, and we got a maxed out attendance of 1,000, which is so good. That money is going to go a long, long way. So it looks like we can't actually get to the end of the month because Hardcore TV is on the 31st of March. So we're not going to be able to see those figures, but we can fast forward to there. So let me just extend Phil LaFon just for another 30 days because we can decide to get rid of him later if we want to. But let's just push on for a couple more days, see if anything interesting comes up. So what's happening here? Mike Tyson has entered the wrestling world. Interesting. Adolfo Moreno has passed away. Rest in peace. And then we got some contract offers for El Vikingo. So that is El Hijo del Vikingo's father. And the Renegade has signed for WCW. Let's continue to push on and see if there's anything else. Anything interesting? We've got our weekly war reports. Let's take a look. Did we win anything other than that? No, we didn't. Did we win anything other than that? Oh, we actually did. Best wrestling skill. I think that's the first time we haven't lost all of them except one. So that's a win in my book. Roster with the best wrestling skill. We outperformed the WWF this week. That is amazing. Like, let's frame that. But we didn't with WCW, who got an 89. Wow. Let's continue on. We've got one more day. Any interesting news? No interesting news. We can see what happened on Raw. What was the main event? Women's Championship was their main event. Interesting. As China gets the win. What was WCW's main event? Hulk Hogan versus Big Bubba Rogers, aka why have I forgotten his name? Big Boss Man. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, Hollywood Hogan. 69. That's not very good. 79. We got an 85, guys. And let's just prove that by going to our event histories. We're still in March. Let's go to the end of March. Where's the Fridays? Living Dangerously. Sold out arena. As we can see here. Where is it? Here. An 85. Oh, and also an 82. Bubba Ray and Chainsaw Dudley outperforming Bret Hart. Just saying. But yeah, that is it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the pay-per-view. Let me know your thoughts. Also, remember to answer the question of the week. And yeah, we've got two more episodes, and then it's our biggest show of the year, Wrestlepalooza, as we look to try and tie up some of those loose ends we've got in the storylines. But yeah, with that, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.